What's up, YouTube? Mr. LimeSC here, and today we're gonna be talking about the Assassin and some changes that I think would improve the overall viability of the endgame Assassin, bring a couple more builds maybe into play, make some adjustments, all of that. Because again, a lot of people have been talking saying, we want more endgame builds, we want some more variety in the meta, and I think there's definitely some potential with this character. Though not a ton of skills that I think that actually need to change, or a ton of changes that actually need to happen for it to be as is. Once again, I am not a lead dev or developer or anything of Blizzard. I am purely a dude who is just a human, just like you, who has thoughts and opinions and feelings and just wants to play a fun game and have fun with it. So, let's talk about what I would change. Now, again, there's a lot of things I wish would change that have not changed and do not change. But, yeah, who knows? We'll see. Now, the first one is the blades. I think Bladesin could be super, super fun. I think there's a lot that can really be done here to just make her absolutely amazing. And the first thing I would change is I would do something with Blade Fury, because right now, look at this wind-up time. It just has such a long wind-up time. And again, if you're trying to like move a little bit out of the way and position yourself and shoot, you just get no shots off whatsoever. It's just such a long delay. And I've said this 1,000 times before, and I'll say it again. If they got rid of that and I could sit there and shoot, you know, every time I moved, like if I was a fireball source or anything like that, where I just go, you know, you can like back up, or like bow and arrow or anything where you can just go and shoot and shoot and shoot, it'd be so much better. But with this delay, you just have to sit. And yeah, eventually you can get into a position that you can just kind of throw on. And, you know, all right, it's okay or whatever, but it just lacks. And every time you back up, you have to get back into the shot mode, and it just ends up failing a lot. So I think there's a couple things. One, I think getting rid of that delay would help it a lot. Two, I think having some sort of pierce or pierce chance or something on it would also improve it a lot, because again, as soon as they hit, they're just stuck. And then that's it. And it's kind of like with an Amazon, if you can't ever pierce anything with her bow, she would be way worse than if you could. You could also make it have some sort of bounce or whatever, but I think pierce is already just kind of built into the game and works well with it. Just having something with that, I think, would just make it such a better skill and make it so usable, and there would just be a lot there. Now, additionally, I think giving some attack rating boost to these as well would be super helpful, because another one of the big issues with blades that you don't have it now as much with like these things, you can see all of these have like +2 attack rating on them, right? You're getting attack rating boost on all of these skills, but blades don't have any attack rating boost whatsoever, and I think this actually just hurts it so much. I think it's just one of these where when you're playing through the game with it, when you're not hitting every single time, it just is so hard to make this skill actually useful. So adding attack rating to this, to the blade skills, I think would improve them greatly and make it better for bossing and make it better for just all the mobs in general, and actually make blades probably come a real build. Like, I think there is really a lot of viability with all of the blade builds from what they've added already, the damage they've added and all of that. I think it has a lot of potential, but without these adjustments that they've added right there, I think blades are still always going to fall short and just not quite be that amazing. They're just, without some sort of pierce or ricochet, without some sort of attack rating boost, without that delay being gone. It's just going to always be something that is too difficult and really just not super great. So I think blades will remain down in, C to B tier. But one of the builds that I pray they improve, because I would love to see this as one of those A tier builds that's just a really solid killer. It could be a lot of fun. Another change I think would be really helpful and interesting is having Phoenix Strike be a double hit strike. So essentially, the ones on the left, Claws of Thunder, Fist of Fire, and Blades of Ice, all of these are used with dual claws or claw weapons, but you can run 2 claws, and when you do it, you'll hit with both of them really fast, and it'll build up 2 charges. So let me just go out there and do that really quick. I'll click once, and you can see I have 2 charges after clicking 1 time, and that's because each one of them got that. But when you're building up Phoenix Strike, you only get a single hit out of it. So you have to do it 3 times to build up your Phoenix Strike charges, which I think just slows it down a little bit. And I do believe that Phoenix Strike is actually in a fun position. I think this is actually a really fun build that you can play through the game with. And I'll definitely have my guided playthrough. This will be one of the first ones that I do a guided playthrough on. So it's still not at a point where it's horrible, but I think it could improve a lot to have that boosted up right there if you want to be able to just get 2 charges really fast, and then you can get the chain lightning off and get that damage, and be really solid, and then you drop down to 1. You can then hit that off again, or you can go up to 3, kind of everything that you want. So I already love the changes that they did with all of these. I love how now the charges don't all explode on the single one, but they just drop down 1. So then you can decide if you want to get that 3rd charge up or 2nd charge up again before you hit again. I love the addition of the attack rating as well. All of the stuff that they have added to this tree, I think, is beautiful. I just think Phoenix Strike could get a tiny bit more love just having that piece there, and it would be super solid. Now, the last thing is not going to actually be skill related, but I wish that they would allow more rune words in claws overall, and I think that would also be something that could help out even a little bit more. And this is just kind of giving a couple more claw options. And the obvious one is Crescent Moon, right? If you could have Crescent Moon in a claw, now you can improve that lightning damage a ton by having the minus lightning res, and I think that could be super fun. Additionally, having Plague in a claw could be super nice. I think there's just a couple more that could be really decent, give us a couple more options, and I think that would help improve some of these builds overall. And again, if you're running like double Crescent Moon, Claws of Thunder or something, it could actually be pretty insane if you've got like an Infinity running around with that, and that could boost that build up to a high A tier, sort of S tier farming build, something to go around and really have a good time with. I think that would be super sick. At the same time, that wouldn't affect traps at all, because traps don't get the minus resistance from the claws. So it doesn't improve traps to be even stronger. It's just really going to be helping out the melee claw builds using Claws of Thunder, and even the chain lightning damage you get from Phoenix Strike and all of that. So, it does have its own viability without maybe further boosting traps even more and making traps even more dominant for the assassin compared to the other pieces. Everything in the Shadow Disciplines tree, I'm honestly pretty happy with. I don't think I'd really change anything there. Rift could be really fun in a claw, but that's 4 open sockets, obviously. But yeah, I just feel like a little bit more addition there would really help open up this tree just slightly more. And I feel like it's so close to being really in that top tier. But At the same time, I also feel like it is still pretty fun. It's still a pretty interesting build. I've already tried a variety of things, and the Claws of Thunder build that I was playing was actually already pretty decent. So there could be, some things like that. Regardless, those are the changes that I think would make the assassin a little bit more interesting. Maybe adjust her a little bit. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace, YouTube.